Mozambican President Daniel Chapo has taken his oath of office in the capital, Maputo. Chapo has taken over from Filipe Nyusi, who's stepping down. President Cyril Ramaphosa attended the ceremony. The inauguration comes after Mozambique experienced massive protests due to the disputed 9 October election. Now joining us for more on the inauguration of Daniel Chapo is the SABC News International Editor, Sophie Mokoena. Good afternoon, Sophie. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Let's start with those in attendance. President Cyril Ramaphosa was one of those. He was actually the only sitting head of state there. What are we to read into this?
Well, I think there are issues behind the scenes in terms of some of the leaders who didn't want to be seen as perhaps endorsing what has happened based on some of what the opposition is saying, particularly as you know that in the region you have parties that are from the opposition bench. And on the other hand, you have a situation perhaps where there was a decision to ensure that you don't have too many dignitaries, and with the protests and the call for demonstrations, you don't have a situation where you embarrass those leaders. But with South African president, as you know that there was a call from the opposition in particular to invite him in terms of assisting them to find a solution. Perhaps he decided to go because this was an opportunity to whisper in the ears of Daniel Chapo in terms of you really have to find a way to deal with this issue amicably, because it will affect our economy, it will affect the economy of the region, including the outgoing President Nyusi, who is still the leader of Frelimo. So you could see that the fact that they didn't want to release a statement yesterday, they only released a statement when he had landed in Maputo. They wanted to make it a low-key event with the intention to interact. When you look even in terms of the delegation, the Minister of State Security, including the Minister of International Relations. And therefore, you could see that there's something that is being attended to in terms of trying to say, we have to sort out this.
So given that Mozambique had sought the intervention of South Africa, in this instance, the president or the presence of President Cyril Ramaphosa would not be viewed in a negative light by even opposition in this instance, to say perhaps the presence of a sitting president, such as the one of South Africa, would legitimize the violence that was seen?
Well, of course, some of the parties are going to say that, but I spoke to some members of the opposition parties in Renamo, in Podemos, except MDM. They were saying that some of them were even there, and they say, no, this was historic, they had to go and witness it, but also they were going to interact with other dignitaries from other countries because they are friends. Because as I pointed out, when you look at Podemos in particular, it is almost a breakaway of Frelimo in a sense that many people within that party, some of them were members of Frelimo, they're friends outside Mozambique. So I think there will be heavy criticism, people saying that you are indirectly endorsing the contested elections. Some are going to say this was the opportunity to speak to the affected parties, particularly the outgoing leadership in government and the incoming leadership in government. As you know that when the envoy of the president, Dr. Sidney Mufamadi, was in Mozambique some few weeks ago, there was a pushback from former President Nyusi saying that there are no challenges, they will be able to manage the situation. So you have to find a very diplomatic way of dealing with this issue. But clearly, some people are going to say this was an endorsement.
Then let's look at Daniel Chapo's speech. What did it entail?
Well, when I spoke to some people in Mozambique, particularly those who are from other parties, they are saying what they sense is that he was trying to reach out to everybody, because when they look at the tone of the speech in terms of the economic policy, they see that he had taken some of the stuff from manifestos of other parties. Yes, he will deny, perhaps, but that's how they viewed the part on economic policy of the country or the direction the country will take in terms of addressing the economic issues. The other issue, what I saw, is him pushing hard to try and reach out, even talking about bringing everybody on board. So we don't know what does that mean. As I pointed out, he has no baggage. He was born after democracy. He was a broadcaster. And therefore, it's easy for him perhaps to reach out to other people. He's not a veteran liberation organization leader, those people who are hardlines. And therefore, I'm told even some of the people in Mozambique from Frelimo were not happy about his speech because his speech was more reconciliatory. And you know, sometimes in these old political parties, you always have these hardliners.
And then where to now for Venancio Mondlane?
Well, today we saw people saying that he had people at a hotel and also a mock inauguration again. But, and also there were demonstrations in some parts of Mozambique. But the reality is now you have Daniel Chapo as the president of Mozambique. And therefore, as I pointed out, I did see this coming. I did analyze this story. I could see that attempt to isolate him or to find a way to say, no, it's the party, it's not him, and him becoming too powerful compared to the party. It's something that was not gonna last, and particularly because he was in Europe. So now he has to assert himself. We don't know on the ground, he's quite strong, but politics are very difficult at times. It's all about strategy and tactics.
Most certainly it is about strategy and tactics. Sophie, thank you very much as always for your time.